Welcome to the third episode of the SML podcast, Hawaiian Shirt Edition. Today we have Sawyer, Johnson, and Brick today and Sawyer's going to share his testimony. Alright, I have a few questions for you. What has helped you feel more connected to others in recent years?
I think recently really it's just been the community that I've experienced here. I mean, the SML group, the youth group I've been a part of, I really didn't have that for much of my life, like up until the pandemic. Looking back now, I just didn't really have friends, and the pandemic didn't make that better. And so then, like, when I finally started coming here, it really was just like a breath of fresh air to like meet all these people who I was able to really connect with.
That's great, yeah. What have you learned about finding belonging or building meaningful relationships?
I think the biggest key in making a good relationship is definitely being genuine. I look back now and I realize that a lot of what was like keeping me from making connections or connecting with people was trying to be what I thought I needed to be instead of what God like created me to be. And so like I've really realized in recent years that I just needed to be genuine with people and just show them like really who I was, and that really is what really got me connected with people.
Yeah, that's great. How has your community or friend group here impacted your faith journey?
I think a better question is how have they not? Because I think that my faith has just exponentially grown ever since I started attending Bethany Grace Fellowship. I mean, Pastor Isaac has definitely been huge in my faith. I think of things that I never would have dreamed of trying to make sense of years before. I mean, I know we've had group chats where we've had theological debates that last hours. Those were all really fun. And so really it's just when you have that community around you, you just build off of each other in your faith.
Yeah, that's definitely. How has your perspective on friendships or connection changed since joining this group?
I mean, I think, like I said before, my perspective is being genuine. When I first came to Bethany Grace, when I met like the friend group that I would eventually become part of, and it looked to me like this friend group that had been together for a while, and that you guys were accepting me into it. And I only just realized like recently from some comments people have made that when I showed up was when a lot of other people showed up too. And the thing that just really astonished me there is that I couldn't tell the difference, is that it looked to me like a friend group that had already been around. And the fact that it was just forming when I showed up and that I was part of its forming really was just shocking to me. And just, I think that genuine comes into that again, and just that being open to other people really just made a difference there. Yeah,
definitely, yeah. And lastly, what encouragement would you like to give to someone who's still looking for genuine community?
Well, I have a small story I want to share. Recently, I was with my scout group and we were hosting a camp out where we invited a bunch of other groups to come and just be a part of it. And everybody had their own little jobs, and at the campfire, I volunteered to go up on this podium and I would announce stuff. And I was waiting up there with the microphone, and they were just like playing music as it went on, and it was pretty good music. It was pretty fun, and so I must have gotten into it because I just started doing like a little bit of dancing while I was up there. And I must have gotten really into it because then I heard one of my friends from the crowd just yell, "Oh yeah, Sawyer!" And in that moment, I knew a lot of other people's attention was being pulled to me now, so I had two choices. And the one choice was just keep going. And the other choice was to stop and be kind of embarrassed about it, but try to keep myself from being more embarrassed. For whatever reason, I just kept going. And everybody seemed to love it, and they were laughing at it. I was not a good dancer. I was quite terrible. But everybody seemed to be laughing about it and having a good time, to the point where the next night when we had our second campfire, the leadership came to me and said, "Sawyer, we're putting you back up on the podium." So what I really think about this is that moment really taught me, it really showed me that like social anxiety, what we fear that people aren't going to like about us is a lot of times the very thing that people love about us. And so I think both the being genuine along with that is really just the key to kind of putting yourself out there for relationships. Just be genuine, and just one of the next days, one of the other scouts recognized me and was like, dude, social anxiety fears you. So really it's just along with trusting in the Lord and praying, because he has a plan for you. He has a plan for your relationships and who you're going to meet and connect with. Along with that, just be genuine, be yourself, and just forget that social anxiety exists.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you, Sawyer.
Thank you.
Welcome to the second segment of the SML podcast.
I'm Noah Trejo.
And I'm Brick from the last segment. And today we have our notes, and we're going to be talking about parables and how to understand them.
So I'm going to start off with a passage, Matthew 13:10 through 17. The disciples came to him and asked, "Why do you speak to the people in parables?" He replied, "Because the knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of heaven have been given to you, but not to them. Whoever is given more, they will have in abundance. Whoever does not have, even what they have will be taken from them. This is why I speak in parables. Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear or understand. In him is fulfilled the prophecy of Isaiah. You will be ever hearing, but never understanding. You will be ever seeing, but never perceiving. For this people's heart has become calloused. They hardly hear with their ears, and they close their eyes. Otherwise they might see with their eyes, hear with their ears, understand with their hearts, and turn, and I would heal them. But blessed are your eyes because they see, and your ears because they hear. For truly I tell you, many prophets and righteous people long to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it."
So basically, parables were short stories that Jesus used to teach the Israelites a lesson or make a point. A lot of these parables were trying to explain salvation and what heaven is like, and can be very confusing and hard to interpret. Jesus used these to help the disciples and Israelites understand, because this was new concepts of a new covenant that was way different from the old covenant.
Some ways to understand the parables are like finding the context, knowing who he's talking to, what is happening before the conversation, and what the conversation surrounding is between the parables. Others can be like finding the symbols. For example, the parable of the lady finding the lost coin isn't really referring to the coin. It's referring to the sinner and God pursuing them.
In the passage, Noah quoted Jesus saying, "Though seeing, they do not see. Though hearing, they do not hear." Jesus was talking about the Pharisees and how the truth would be concealed from them if they do not try to see the truth. A big part of understanding parables is that you want to actually grasp the knowledge of it, and the point that Jesus was trying to make.
And the ultimate goal of parables is actually finding the spiritual truth. If you don't find the spiritual truth, there is no point to them at all.
The best thing you could do to try to understand these parables is to pray for God's guidance while exploring this part of Jesus' ministry. A big part of understanding the parables is trying to find the historical and religious context that was happening in that time. During that time of Israel, they were occupied by the Roman Empire, and the Pharisees and Sadducees were the main spiritual leaders at the time, and taught the Israelites of a Messiah that would come to rescue them from their oppressors. But really, Jesus came to save them for their sins, and that's what a lot of the parables were trying to communicate. Thank you so much for listening to the second segment of the SML podcast. Hope you've learned something. And this is Brick and Noah out.
Welcome to Holy Curiosity. I'm Mackenzie, and today we're going to be talking about how to overcome fear.
I would have, from a personal experience, when I was younger, I had like a crippling fear of thunderstorms. And so whenever I was at like my sister's soccer game, I would have like a panic attack if there was like a dark cloud in the sky. And I had this going on for like quite some time, and one day I was just like sick and tired of it, so I went outside during a storm with my dad and just sat there through it, and it actually really like helped me get better. And obviously that was a while ago, but I can just relate that to like if you're in like spiritual fear of like the enemy or something. Like Jesus is there with you, like how my dad was with me when I was sitting out in the storm with him.
Yeah, Jesus tells us that God is by our side, and it's the opposite from what Satan tells us. He tells us that we are by ourselves, we are alone, but God is by our side and tells us not to be afraid. Joshua 1:9 says, have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Yeah, I struggle a lot with like public speaking and talking in front of people, even though like God gave me such a loud voice, as you guys know. But I could literally talk to anybody and go up to them. But I think it's such like a strong battle in my head that's like, what are they gonna say about me? Like, how are they gonna judge me if I mess up in my speech or something? Or like if I'm just talking to them and having a conversation, it's like always like the devil in my head, like they're gonna judge you, they're gonna criticize you speaking. But yeah.
I think that's such a great point. I think a lot of times when people think of how do we overcoming fear, they think of the big stuff, of the big fears. But I think, like I talked about earlier, it's just the social anxiety can really just be a wall in our life that we have to get around. And so, like it says in Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Like for me, that's a verse that I have used multiple times in my life when I'm just unsure about something or scared of something or just need help, especially when I'm going to meet new people. And like that's always been nerve-wracking, going and meeting a bunch of new people. And it's something I think I've definitely gotten better with, especially since my friend Josh Fiddler dragged me along to City on the Hill. I met a whole bunch of new people there, and I was severely nerve-wracked going there because I wasn't going to know anybody and it was just going to be a whole bunch of new people. And I found that like it wasn't that hard connecting with people there when I just kind of like dropped my guard and just stopped caring.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, I think like in the Bible it says like God's will be done, you know, and like saying that like God's gonna give you like circumstances to like grow through, and it's like He's challenging you in these circumstances, like public speaking, talking to other people, thunderstorms, right? But that's gonna teach you a lesson, you know. But yeah, definitely love that.
Yeah, I feel like I struggle a lot with like anxiety and stuff. It used to be really bad. Like even when like youth retreats, I would get really anxious and like not have a good time. But I feel like right now in my life, since going through like all my knee surgery and stuff, it's taught me a lot of like having patience and kind of relying on God and praying to Him, and just kind of like going back to the fact that He's always with me wherever I go, and that He knows what's gonna happen, so there's nothing to be worried about.
God is the bringer of true peace. Yeah. John 14:27 says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give it to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and nor let them be afraid." God gives us true peace that only He can give. There's no perfect peace except from Him.
Well, yeah, a lot of things is I can be myself around people, but then when I get home, I'm like, oh, why did I do that? Why did I say that? That was stupid. But my personality that I have, God like made me have this personality. So, and if it means I'm a little bit loud, that's what I'm supposed to be, I guess. So, I'm learning to be okay with me messing up or tripping over my feet or something.
Yeah, I feel like I struggle with not knowing the future. I have a planner, I follow the planner. If the planner gets messed up, I flip out. Maybe not in a temper tantrum sort of sense, but I do like worry about that sometimes. So it's comforting to know that God is sovereign and He knows what the future is and He has a plan and all that. Psalm 36, 4-13. When I am afraid, I will trust in you, in God whose word I praise. In God I trust and am not afraid. What can mere mortals do to me? All day long they twist my words. All their schemes are for my ruin. They conspire, they lurk, they watch my steps, hoping to take my life. Because of their wickedness, do not let them escape. In your anger, God, bring the nations down. Record my misery, list my tears on your scroll. Are they not in your record? Then my enemies will turn back when I call for help. By this I will know that God is for me. In God whose word I praise, in the Lord whose word I praise, in God who I trust and am not afraid. What can men do to me? I am under vows to you, my God. I present my thanks offerings to you. For you have delivered me from death and my feet from stumbling, so that I may walk before the Lord in the light of life.
I think that brings up there's a very popular like saying. People say like, oh, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Basically saying like, oh, like there's nothing really to fear except fear. And I would go as far as to say that that's even wrong. Is we don't even have to fear fear. I would change it to say the only thing we have to fear is God. Like, and if He's on our side, then we don't have anything to fear. Like He's a fearful and wonderful God. And so, like there is nothing here on earth that can harm us in a way that He can't protect us.
All right, well, thanks for joining us for Holy Curiosity. See you on the next podcast.
We fight our battles by ourselves, but God is actually with us, and He tells us not to be afraid. Joshua 1:9 says, "Have I not commanded you, be strong and courageous? Do not..."
Wait, did you just do